Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer, and this is TV Talk. It's Tuesday, so that means it's Star Wars Day. And this week's episode of Star Wars Clone Wars was Downfall of a Droid. Now, last week, Anakin and R2 got into a little trouble with Grievous, and Anakin's ship was damaged, and he was injured. And R2 just disappeared. But Anakin still believes that R2 is somewhere out there and is determined to find him. However, he's also been given a mission by the Jedi Council, and that is to find Grievous's secret listening post. They're convinced that Grievous has a listening post somewhere in the system, which is how he's able to pinpoint where they are and know their strategies so well. Reluctantly, Anakin is forced to take his replacement droid, R3, with him, but he's not happy about it, as R3 is definitely not R2 and ends up causing way more problems than he does helping. Ahsoka and the clones go with him as well once they discover the location of the secret listening post to help destroy not only the listening post, but hopefully capture Grievous. While there, Ahsoka discovers the identity of the spy they believed was among them, and she, Anakin, and the clones are reunited with R2. Now, this episode is one I actually like, as we see R2 acting independently of the unit, and we do see him do this very frequently. R2 is a very independent droid. Up until the release of Star Wars Rebels, and I will talk to that when we get to Star Wars Rebels. We still have the rest of the season and 5 more seasons to get through before we get to Rebels. So just be patient, please. But anyways, until the release of Star Wars Rebels, where they introduced a droid named Chopper, R2 was probably the most independent droid that was in the Star Wars franchise. Which wasn't very hard because there were really only 2 of them, R2 and C-3PO, and C-3PO really isn't very independent. But R2 is definitely a very independent droid. He will take matters into his own little control handles if need be. Another thing you see in this, well, not so much this episode, I think it was definitely in last week's episode. We see Ahsoka really well, not really so much see her do this, but more so we see it for the first time in the Clone Wars movie. But I want to talk about it a little bit in here and on my theory on why she does this. She has this habit of giving nicknames to people and droids she's constantly around and has an attachment to. She calls Anakin Sky Guy, she calls Rex Rexter, she calls R2 R2-y, and throughout this episode and last week's episode, she was referring to R3, who was black and gold, as Goldie. And, Anakin in return calls her Snips, because when he first met her in the Clone Wars movie, she had a very snippy attitude towards him because he really didn't want her around. But my theory on why she does this stems from her Togruta heritage. Togrutas are very tribal and very community oriented, so maybe being in this situation where she's with Anakin and with Rex and with R2 and with a lot of the other clones that are part of the 501st unit or Legion or whatever the heck it's called. I know it's the 501st, I just can't remember what comes after it. In an attempt to have that community, because she's not always with them, but she's with them more than she's with anybody else, she gives them these little nicknames or something. Anyways, that's my theory on why she does it, because you don't see her really do it with anyone else. I don't really think she has a nickname for Obi-Wan, and we do see her with Obi-Wan a lot, that's my theory on why she does it. But anyways, I got sidetracked here a little bit. A good episode. The reason why I really like this episode a lot also is that R2, when he comes across R3, really inserts this, this is his spot. This is his place at Anakin's side. He is Anakin's droid, and that's where the name of the episode, Duel of the Droids, comes from. And if I said it was a different one at the beginning of the episode, I apologize. I might have gotten that mixed up with last week's episode. I do that sometimes. And here's something I found really interesting. Kind of like that's kind of funny and ironic interesting. In the original trilogy, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, mostly Return of the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, we see C-3PO a lot with Leia and R2 a lot with Luke. Now, in the Clone Wars trilogy, the Clone Wars series, excuse me, we see R2 a lot with Anakin and C-3PO a lot with Padme. Now, for those of you who have seen the original trilogy and the prequels, you know that Luke and Leia are Anakin and Padme's children. So I just find it funny that the droid that spent a lot of time with the mom in the prequels, or in the Clone Wars series, spends a lot of time with the daughter in the original trilogy, and the droid that spent a lot of time with the dad in the Star Wars Clone Wars series spent a lot of time with the son in the original trilogy. So I just found that amusing. I also found it very amusing that R2 is technically Padme's droid, as he was the astromech on her ship in Phantom Menace when she was queen, and C-3PO is technically Anakin's droid, as he's the one who built him in Phantom Menace, and yet R2 spends a good portion of his time with Anakin, and C-3PO spends a good portion of his time with Padme. I just find that a little interesting as well. So anyways, I'm going to wrap up this video. My question for you guys for this week is, I did put it in the comments for last week's episode, but I'm going to do a verbal one because I really couldn't think of a question that tied in with this episode. Is that it goes back to what my theory on why Ahsoka gives those she's around nicknames. And so the question is, do you think my theory is right and she's giving everyone nicknames because, or at least those that she's around all the time, nicknames because it's her way of instilling a communal bond between them? Or do you just think she's just trying to be cute because she is a 14-year-old girl at this point? Let me know in the comment section. Also, feel free to leave your comments as well. And to like and subscribe, that helps me out a lot. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I will leave the information in the description section. And for those of you who want to know a little bit more about the Taruga, as I didn't really go into a lot of detail, as this is not a video on the Taruga, it is a video on Duel of the Droids. Feel free to check out SciFi Soup's video on the Taruga. He does a lot of really cool videos on Star Wars species, and I believe he also does videos on Star Wars on planets within the Star Wars universe, and the machinery within the weapons and ships and whatnot in the Star Wars universe as well. So feel free to check out his channel. I will leave the name. I will leave the channel name in there, as well as the name of the video that I referenced in this video. So feel free to check those out as well. Take my word for it, they are amazing videos. His one on the Togruta is one of my favorites, along with the one on the Twi'leks and the Nautilus, or whatever Kit Fisto's species is, and the Wookiees, because I like the Wookiees. Have not seen one on the Ewoks yet. I'm not saying there's not one out there. If there isn't, and you're watching this video, maybe that could be your next video on the Ewoks. I just think they're really cute and adorable, like little teddy bears. So I'm gonna wrap up this video now. I'm Jennifer. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.